So I didn't quite get to the part where we almost died, or the two parts when we almost died yet. I wanted to get that into an episode. We got to get that in here.
Of course, but we can't lead with that, can we?
No, I
That's
should probably just let it be part of the story, right? I don't want to just make those
yeah,
the
yeah.
highlights. They weren't the highlights.
We build up to it. It's like that time I met the guy at work and he goes, my name is Tim, but I go by Josh because I was named after my father and he left us, but when I was 2 months old and I never had a relationship. I'm like, dude, you can't lead with that.
Right to the
Come on.
juicy details. No,
Yeah.
we're gonna let it stay chronological for this episode. How about that?
Okay, good. This episode this episode of Cats on Guard, the #1 podcast where pilots risk their lives battling man-eating beasts, glaciers, uh, Death Star trench runs,
And
and
impatience. Impatience.
impatience. And I was gonna say the reward is a healthy trip to Costco with a delightful spread for one's loved. And
All
I
right,
am MC
so
Howe. I am MC Howe. This is my co-captain, your co-captain, Richard Million, the man of the hour who has just returned from a magnificent Alaskan vacation. He's gonna tell us all about it. Take away. I have nothing else
all
to say
right.
the rest of the hour.
Oh, you do, you do. You're hanging on the edge of your seat. I can see it. So we get in the airplane. So we got I think we left off. I got to Juneau, and we set up the house for the ladies. The wives flew in. It was a good time. We cooked them a special dinner. And the next day, we're going to go out. We're going to go see Alaska. It's Monday of our Monday through Friday vacation, and we're going to go see Alaska. So we get to the
I
airport.
Yeah. I've heard it's really easy to see Alaska in one day.
No, it is not. So what? Well, so I was doing a weight and balance at home a month before this trip, and I realized that we wanted at least 4 hours of fuel so we can go out somewhere and back without worrying about having extra fuel, and there's not fuel at all these airports. It's actually very rare to find fuel at airports at these little outstations. So we did weight and balance based on 60 gallons of fuel, which is about between 4 and 5 hours of fuel depending on how much gas we're burning. And that's enough to go an hour and a half out, an hour and a half back, and not worry about how much gas is in the tanks, which will get you pretty much anywhere in Southeast Alaska. So we planned on that for adults, and then we were like, well, the survival kit weighs this much, and then we told the wives they can only bring 15 pounds each for baggage for the week.
For the
Fif-
whole week.
yeah, 15 pounds, yeah, including
Yeah,
the
but
weight of the bag. So that
hold
was a
on now.
hard no.
But you're staying in a place. They don't need to bring their week's supplies on a sightseeing trip, do
Well,
they?
that's why I know. I hope some viewers at home
Was
laughed
this
when
the
they heard that
SS
part.
Minnow? Was your last name Howell?
Well, before we had a place for the whole week, we were planning on going from city to city and
Nice.
staying. And we said, hey, 15 pounds, if the men pack light, 20 pounds at most for you ladies. And they just laughed. They were like, yeah, no. Like the jacket weighs 4 pounds, right? The bag weighs 6 or 8 pounds. It's okay. Here, you get 8 pounds to put the rest of your stuff. No, not going to happen. And if you want hiking boots, also, by the way, that counts. So the answer was hard no. So we picked this one spot where they can bring all the bags they want on the airline and leave with it all on the airline. And when we go out for the day everywhere, you just have what's on your back. And that's how
A
we did it.
sensible compromise.
Yeah, compromise, right? The story of a marriage.
Mhm.
2 marriages. So the 2 of us are in Juneau. We're ready to fire up on Monday morning. I think we were gonna go for the glacier tour or something like that. Yeah, we were gonna go fly around the glaciers. And the plane wouldn't start. And, the owner, I love him to death, good friend of mine, but he's a little impatient. And he, crank, 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 and nothing's firing off. Hey, hang on. Let's try something else. Okay, let's try something else. And nothing. And I'm looking at the battery voltage meter and I'm like, man, we're really beating this battery up, the starter.
Yeah,
Why don't
we're
we just
back
let's
to the
just give it a
battery.
break. We're back to the battery. It's not the battery, it's just how much the operator uses said battery. So like a teenager on their cell phone, we're gonna run it down to 1%, hoping it'll work. And maybe,
And then they
once we
run
get it
in and
started.
then they gotta run in and grab dad's charger.
Yeah, so that's what happened. So dad is named Scott. He's the local mechanic in Juneau. So after we kill the battery trainer, he says, "My plane always starts," and I'm like, "Well, not today. It's not. I don't know what's going on." So we go to run dad, grab dad's charger. This the gentleman Scott's a mechanic over there. Actually, wait, I left a part out. We actually borrowed the power unit from the FBO there first, and we plugged this power unit up to the airplane, and we could not get it to start, even with the power unit. And so I let the power unit charge the battery up, and then we went to the mechanic, Scott. We went to borrow daddy's charger. We said, "Hey, Scott, we ran it dead. We can't get it to start. We're on our vacation. I'm sorry. I hope you have time for us." He says, "Well, you're in luck. You see that Cessna that just taxied out?" Yes, we see it. Well, that was the last customer that was in the capacity of my shop, and I just finished fixing his plane, and he's out and on his way. So I actually have a space open in my shop. And we said, "Scott, thank you so much. We would love it if you can take a look at our airplane and see what's wrong with it." Scott takes us right in. There's no wait, zero time lost, and he takes our plane in on Monday. He says, "Guys, go do something. I'll let you know what I find by the end of the day." So we are super bummed. We got all the way to Alaska. The wives got out there and we couldn't even take them flying, and we don't know what's wrong or how long it's going to take to fix or what. So he peels around some stuff. He goes, "Hey, your mix." She called. Oh, so we went hiking for the day. Worst hike. Well, not worst hike of my life, but it was pretty excruciating.
No.
Between the mosquitoes and it was labeled a moderate hike. It wasn't beginner and it wasn't advanced. It was just moderate. And I think the word moderate needs some little better defining in the state of Alaska.
Well, Alaskans do things a little differently up there, so
I guess so,
moderate for
because
them
I
is
was
like yeah.
it was exhausting. And it was called Glacier View or Glacier Peak Trail or something like that. And I'll tell you, it was like 3.5 miles up a mountain and then back or something like that. And in that entire hike, we only saw the glacier for like a couple of 100 yards worth of trail.
Seems about right.
I'm like, "You gotta be kidding me. All this hiking and we saw the glacier for like 4 minutes
Well, did
total?"
you get close to it, or was it way out in the
No,
distance?
it was a in the distance view from the top of this hill far away from the glacier. I'm like, there were people standing at the glacier on a much easier trail. We should have. The way the state park ran is they make it so that every Joe Schmo on a bus can get to the glacier, right? Well, we didn't take the Joe Schmo trail. We took the trail where not many people were. Well, joke's on us because that's what we ended up doing. But we got back, we showered, we went out to a nice dinner. While we're at the nice dinner, Scott, daddy with the charger, the Juno mechanic, the hero, calls us back, says, "Guys, your plane's great. I fixed it. You guys had an excessively rich mixture at idle. So when you were trying to start it, it was just too much gas to get the engine to turn over."
Now, can you explain for the uninitiated what a mixture is?
A mixture. So, in your car, when you hit the gas and the car puts enough gas into the engine goes, "Vroom." Pilots have to control how much fuel. Yeah, it does it automatically in a car. So in the plane, we do have a throttle, which is much like your gas pedal, but also we have another lever, the mixture lever, and that mixture controls how much gas the plane can have with the throttle being worked by the pilot. So you control two things to make plane go.
That seems
Anyway,
very antiquated, doesn't it? Can't we
it
do
is.
better
It's like
than
a
that in the 21st
no.
century?
Well, you can thank the FAA for holding back general aviation and 1950s tractor engine technology. But anyway, they're not happy till we're not happy. We're using this 1950s mechanical magneto driven engine in this beautiful 2004 airplane, but still limited to 1950s technology because we don't recertify new things. Um, so he makes the adjustment to the engine, fuel delivery, and he says, "You should be good to go. I started it a million times. It started right up every time." Cool, thanks. Battery's charged, plane's good to go. Tuesday morning, we show up, plane fires right up. By the way, he handed us a bill, very reasonable. I was so
Huh.
surprised. He saved our vacation. We sent him a huge thank you package. Um,
Love Scott the Juno mechanic. Awesome.
yep, dad with the charger.
Yep.
He kept the phone alive. So yeah, we got the really cool thing about Tuesday was, they have this guidebook for how it's called a letter of agreement, an LOA. Here's how all of the air tour operators and pilots in the area will fly the glacier. So there's not absolute chaos of flight over a narrow valley of ice. We have
That's
entry
helpful.
and exit procedures with different altitudes. You come in on this the particular glacier, you would go in on the left side, let's say the north side, and stay at an altitude of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, and you come out on the south side on the 500, so 1,500, 2,500, 3,500, so that you don't have any crossing traffic at the same altitude head on, which is a really cool system. But it was still new to us. We'd never done it. I'd never done it. He'd never done it. In the morning, my wife and I had talked. We always wanted to go on a seaplane. We've never been in a seaplane. We want to have a seaplane someday. I want to learn to fly one. Anyway, we paid for a tour on a professional seaplane out of the cruise port where all the cruise people go.
Oh, fun.
They did that's exact same glacier flight I wanted to lead for the owner of this plane.
So you did this as a passenger first then?
Correct. And I watched and recorded and monitored everything.
Now, let
That's
me
cheating.
ask you this. Knowing you and having seen the pictures you posted, did you finagle your way into a front seat on that seaplane?
Did not intentionally. I would have loved it one way or the other, but I was wearing my sweatshirt that said EAA, which is Experimental Aircraft Association. It's the people that run the Oshkosh fly-in. It's the big organization that plane owners belong to. And the pilot saw it and said, "EAA, you a pilot?" And I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Jump up front with me." Cool. And I looked at my
That's
wife. She's
awesome.
like, "We were supposed to do this together." And I'm like, "We're going to be in the plane together." It's like, "You're supposed to sit next to me." And I'm like, "Well, there's only one other seat in the cockpit, dear, and I need to be in it."
You need it to be. You were the
So
safety pilot. Yeah.
I went in, I went left, she went right, she took a seat in the back with the cruise people, and I went up front with the pilot and hung out and watched and learned, and it was awesome. And yeah, so talked to the guy where we're from. Obviously, we got to know each other a little bit, and we landed. I had all the information I needed to that afternoon go fly the glaciers in our plane, and I
So
looked
you
like
did
a
it
pro.
twice in the same day.
I did, but I looked like a pro, and it was for all
Yeah,
the wrong reasons because I got
that's
a cheat
awesome.
sheet. I got this
No,
the
it's
cliff
not. No,
notes in
that's
the morning.
research. That's
It was
that's
really
leadership.
that was the
That's what that
safest way to
is.
do it instead of just
Yes,
dive bombing in going, "I think I got this." Instead, I watched the pro do it, and then I went and did it.
very good.
So, so it turns out, and this guy, so we said, we told him we have this plane up here. We're flying around. We're newbies. He goes, "Dude, follow my Instagram or Snapchat or whatever the heck. I don't have any of those apps. And just, Pilot Mike or whatever." And
You
okay,
know,
cool.
that
I'll
may be
follow.
why our listenership is so low.
We don't have the apps.
Yeah, get
We're a
yourself an
little
Instagram.
technologically behind there, huh?
Captain Million from where? Never heard of him.
Captain Million only has a Facebook. What an old guy. Ugh.
Right. All right,
Well,
go on.
anyway, no, that's all right. So, a small aviation world. So back, let's do a little back shadowing, or what do they call it in the movies where they rewind the clock 10 years? Last winter in one of these little airports back east, back south, whatever you want to call it, and I'm watching this guy push this Piper Saratoga out of a hangar, and he's having a little trouble or whatever. So I offer to come down and give him a hand at the airport. He goes, "Oh, sure, no problem. I'm actually taking this thing to sell. What's your name?" And okay, hey, John. And John goes, "Hey, you know of any?" Because I don't know. We talked about what kind of piloting we do. I told him I work professionally. He goes, "Oh, you know of any jobs for a low time pilot? I mostly just fly seaplanes in Alaska in the summers." And this happened, I don't know, last winter.
Yeah.
So it turns out tour guide operator it knows and is friends with guy from back home who I helped push plane out of hangar. Small world.
It is a
You
small
know
world,
John?
isn't
I
it?
know John.
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool. We know John. Oh, John will
that's
be up here in a few
hilarious.
days. Um, so we get all this good advice, get making friends everywhere. We fly the glaciers Tuesday, and let's see, what did we do? Yeah, so that it was just a good day overall. I mean, it was just a good experience. Wednesday, I think we went to Sitka, Alaska. Yeah, that was the time we were chasing the whales. So there's that video I'm going to post where we snake in and around the mountain valleys and chase a pod of whales. We saw orcas, they're like swimming along together. You could clearly see the white spots in their belly,
Yeah.
like even from 2,000, 1,500 feet, whatever we were at. Really good trip. Sitka has like a bear rescue and a bald eagle rescue that we went to. We used the crew car, bought some gas. Unfortunately, we saw this TFR. We didn't temporary flight restriction, airspace you're not allowed to fly
Yes.
into,
Yes.
just outside the airport. And we didn't know why. We didn't ask questions, but we just didn't fly near it. Come to find out later that there's a Coast Guard base in Sitka that was in that movie with the Coast Guard swimmers. You remember that movie?
Nope.
Okay, it was oh gosh, can't remember the name of the actor. Anyway, if you big like Coast Guard swimmer movie, and they're at the Coast Guard base in Alaska, Sitka, and they're saving people. Um, One of their helicopters crashed on them into the hill just outside the airport. All the people on board survived, and they're at the hospital to some degree of not healthy, but they all nobody died. So
So that happened while you were up there or just recently?
apparently, like just before we got to Sitka,
Wow.
like the day or two, yeah.
Okay.
Well, but we had a great time in Sitka. Highly recommend. Beautiful little town. Um, yeah, the let's see, that was Wednesday. Thursday was the first day, the first occurrence of almost died.
Tell me that.
Oh, of course, that's what you've been waiting for.
Is it? Well,
So,
yeah.
yeah, okay. Thursday, we said we're gonna fly to Skagway, Alaska. Anybody who's taken Alaska cruise, they probably had their boat go to Skagway. There's a big glacier at the end of this channel. It's like 3 or 4 miles of deep, narrow valley that boats can go up and down with no problem, but for an airplane, it's questionable whether or not you can turn around in that canyon.
Mm,
And at the end of that canyon, like, at the end of the trench is a runway. So
okay.
narrow so narrow that even to depart that airport, if you want to be able to turn back, when you take off, you go like, you take a couple of left 90s and then you end up back the other way. There's no room to make a left 180. So you actually have to take off and make a right, like 45-degree turn and fly as close to the cliff as you can, and then take a left, then take a left, like, not a 180, a little more than a 180, go back out over the runway. It's that narrow. There's a procedure posted for it. I read it, studied it, was ready to do it, and we left Juneau and headed up that way. Going 5 miles west of that channel is another town called Haines, where there's a cruise ship port and nice little village, things to do. And Haines is like, oh, everyone's like, hey, if you don't have the balls to go to Skagway, just go to Haines. It's fun. So all the local pilots are telling me just go to Haines, and I'm like, I got Skagway. I can do Skagway.
Oh
So
boy.
we fly up, and it's nice weather relative. It's the average weather, but it's nice enough. And the weather at Skagway was reported to be beautifully clear. We were going to see the glaciers. Like, we were going to fly all the way up to 6,000 feet, fly all the way up the glacier as it got bigger, and back down. All these grand plans. And the weather in Juneau was great. And then we got up the channel, and as we were about to get to the mouth of that channel that leads to Skagway, it just looked like, where is it? I don't see it. Like mountain, like little puffy clouds, mountain. And apparently this channel was just the mouth of it is just a giant cloud. It's completely socked in on the channel itself. The weather reporting at the airport was beautiful. The weather reporting before it was beautiful. At the mouth of the inlet, just solid clouds. You wouldn't be able to see a rock from a cloud.
Oh my
So
gosh.
as we're approaching it, I'm doing this countdown in my head, like, all right, if we don't see it by, how far can we go to see if we actually see up this channel or not before we decide to do a 180 and not hit something trying to turn around? And so I'm like counting down in my head, counting down in my head. I'm like, "Oh, time's up, turn around." And he goes, "What?" And I'm like, "Oh, there's no time to like have this discussion." I have the controls, and I took the plane and I just did a quick 180 hard. And I'm like, "We're going to Haines. Let's get the weather for Haines. Let's get set up in a traffic pattern, like change the GPS." And so we worked together really well, like a crew, very, very airline style cockpit where I'm delegating tasks. And, then I was flying already. So I'm like, "You mind if I just fly it over to Haines, 4 minutes away?" "Yeah, sure. No problem." So we set up for Haines and we abandoned the plan to go to Skagway, which sucked. I really wanted to go to Skagway. It was a super challenging runway environment. I was really looking forward to putting that on my, notch on my belt.
Well, sounds like a return trip is in order.
Nah, maybe someday, maybe. But I don't
Yeah.
trust that weather. My gosh.
If you ever
So,
if you ever talk me into it, maybe. I don't know.
well, I'll get to it, but I got reaffirmed for my decision a couple hours later. So we get to Haines, and there's a T-shirt design that we made on AI that I'm going to share with you, and the group on our Facebook page, Cats on Guard. So this is all like a lot of workload in a really quick amount of time. 4 minutes to like prep for a new airport, divert, join a traffic pattern. Like the weather over at that airport was questionable, and I joined the traffic pattern, and I'm, like, really close to Raleigh because it's another valley airport where you're right along the side of a mountain ridge, and I do this beautiful diving, descending, visual maneuver straight to the numbers, like, as soon as I passed the edge of it, like, turning, and I rolled out so perfect. I was so damn proud of myself. On speeds, profile. It was like that LaGuardia visual that everyone talks about, the airlines that
Yes,
but you guys do it
yes.
with GPS waypoints now. The old school guys used to fly it by hand with their eyeballs. Remember that?
All right, listen, sister. I was one of those old school guys that used to do
Yeah.
it before all that. You fly to the tanks, you make a turn at the tanks, you're looking for you see the stadium, and then there's a one Home Depot at 600 feet and a second Home Depot at 300 feet, and you roll out on final right over that second Home Depot. It's beautiful.
Right? And what do you say to yourself when
Yeah.
you do it damn you do it really good, right? You just do it great. You have something going on in your head when you pull it off.
Yeah, but I can't say it on this airline podcast. Whatever. It's just,
That's fine,
the cats would come out and censor.
right? You gotta censor it. So
No,
I'll
is it?
cens
That wasn't so hard. Something like that.
that was well, I roll out over the numbers. I'm at, like I mean, you're supposed to cross the threshold at 50 feet. I do, dead on, centered, right on the center line, right on speed, and about, I don't know, seconds later, we're maybe 30 feet, and I'm like I was saying this to myself in my head, but I said it out loud, so it went through the speaker to all the the other pilot. I'm so effing good. I said, like, to myself, right? But I said it out loud, and right as I finished the sentence, boing, I bounced the damn airplane down the road.
Oh, no. What?
I'm so effing good. Boing, boing, boing. Oh, man, and all the ladies in the back, "Spoke too soon, Captain Million,"
So, maybe you
So,
know what? That just an idea. We should put some Captain Million T-shirts out there, and that'll be the catchphrase.
I'm so effing good. So they kept saying, "You're too cocky. Look what you did. You talked too soon."
That's like our when I said, "That wasn't so hard." I said that once after a check ride with a particular ball busting check airman. One year,
"Oh,
I
oh,
was
no."
terrified going into it, and I got out of it, and he goes, "What do you think?" I go, "That wasn't so hard." He goes, "All right, we're going back in."
Well, yeah, so after I jinxed myself, we parked the plane, we're gonna head into town, and the, um the representatives are there for the Alaska Seaplanes Company, which is they run little airplanes around with it's kind of like a charter thing, essential air service, and they do people and cargo. So we're talking to them about why we're in Haines because we were gonna go to Skagway, and he goes, "Yeah, our guys wouldn't have flown up that right now either."
Well, there you go.
So the
Vindication.
professionals made the right decision.
Yeah.
I made the right decision. The guys that do it every day. So anyway, we had a good time at Haines. They have a hammer museum.
Really?
Hammer museum.
Hammer. I mean, he was really popular in the '90s. I don't know if he was
No,
museum what?
no,
Oh,
I mean like the tool. Thousands of
r
different hammers.
kidding.
The admission
From,
ticket
like,
was
all throughout
$7.
history, like Norse, gods
Yes,
and
yes, ancient hammers, current hammers, medical hammers, electrical hammers, roofing I mean, I could it sounds like the Bubba Gump shrimp thing, right?
yeah.
Popcorn shrimp, coconut shrimp, gumbo shrimp, they all kinds of shrimp. There it's like it was
I guess
every
there's
hammer
a
you
mu
could
I guess there's a museum for everything. I was in, I think it was Kansas City somewhere. I was driving into the hotel and, the van drivers, they're always a wealth of wisdom, and they told me about the local hair museum that I should
hair.
visit.
Like
Hair,
rabbits or on your head
no,
hair?
human hair,
Ew.
human art, hair art. So, hammers? Of course. Who knows what else is out there?
I'd rather be at a hammer museum than a hair museum, so I'm glad I went to the correct museum.
I'm glad you I hope you got pictures, but maybe it's not allowed. No
I
photography
took
in the
some.
Hammer
Um,
Museum.
I took some. There were so, like, my wife being a doctor, she took pictures of all the medical hammers. Um, the other pilot and I were whiskey bourbon fans. There were alcohol hammers that were used for, like, making barrels and uncorking things and other just really crazy. Oh, and you know what? Do you remember Tim the Tool Man, the show
Of
from the
course.
'90s?
Of course I do.
Yeah. So he apparently sent them a hammer like, embossed with the home improvement logo and his signature or whatever.
Oh,
So
fun.
there's a Tim Allen, yeah,
I
Tim the
just thought
Tool
of something.
Man.
I just
Yeah.
thought of something. Yeah, I've referenced my friend Prissy Bauer on this show from time to time. He's always wanted to do a construction project with me so that he can hand me a tool and say, "MC, hammer." So I might take him there.
Get some Al Borland jokes in there while you're doing
Yes,
it. You should totally
yes.
film that, yeah. Oh, man.
Oh,
So,
what
yeah,
an unexpected surprise.
yeah, the Hammer Museum.
And see, if you hadn't almost died, imagine what you were missing out on.
Oh, so for the listeners at home, it doesn't sound very harmless the way I explained it, but,
No, you
there's a
really
turn
soft sold it, I think.
I did, but there's a turn radius in an airplane based on how much you bank the airplane, and if you bank the airplane too much, your stall speed goes up to your speed, and then you die downward, and if you don't bank the airplane
Did you
enough, your
say I'm
turn
sorry, did
radius
you say dive downward or die?
die,
Die, that's right, okay, yeah.
die, stalled wings fall into the ocean, die there, get eaten by polar bears or orcas, or you don't bank enough and your turn radius is so wide you hit the mountain trying
Mhm,
to turn around.
yeah,
So those were the 2 options I had to balance and pick the longest time, how close can we get, and take a look, and we're not getting any closer than that, and we're turning.
excellent, excellent.
Yeah, and you can see the line on FlightAware, I think I showed you when you were tracking the plane, and, it was a good amount of safe margin.
Well,
If I had
how many times when you're going through flight training or even just out on the line, you talk about how you have to be how many steps ahead? So you had that turn already in your head, way, way before you needed it. So that's good,
I
that's
did.
smart, that's pilotage right there.
And this trip took every bit of pilot skill and intuition I coulda had in me for the week. It was so many decisions and checks and plan A, plan B, plan C. So, and I'm alive to talk about it.
And your bucket of experience got a little bit deeper.
Yeah, yeah, we didn't do drops in the bucket, we did
You
a
didn't
couple
have any
cups,
yeah,
couple
you didn't
quarts.
in that case, you didn't need your bucket of luck, I guess. So you
Yeah, yep. Oh, man. Well, we, uh, we did Haines, it was a good time. It was time to leave, and we realized it was time for an oil change.
yeah,
So, these engines
3,000
carry
miles, it's probably due.
Yeah, yeah. So you can take an oil filter for 50 hours on these planes. You could take oil for 50 if you want, but that's really not a good idea. Most owners change the oil out at 25, and then at every second oil change the filter. So we had a fresh oil and filter when we left. When we got there, we were approaching that 25th hour. So we flew back from Haynes and told the ladies we need to change the oil at some point. And they were yapping about something. I don't even think they knew we said the word oil, airplane, airport. I think it was just like the Charlie Brown adult womp 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 womp. So they were yamming our way, and Dave and I looked at each other and we're like, well, let's just go change the oil. The oil's warm because we just flew it. We can drain it quickly, and we had packed a kit with us. So I took a Lowe's. Well, he bought the Lowe's bucket
Oh, you're gonna
and
do
a
it
lid.
yourself. You
Yeah,
didn't
we
even
did it
need
ourselves.
Scott.
No, so we actually I'll tell you how we did though. Um, we bought I think so we had 2 quarts in the plane for replenishment oil on the way up to Alaska, and then we had 2 quarts for the way back, and we had 10 quarts for the oil change on site. So we had 14 quarts with us for the flight. So we used 2 on the way up, we left 2 in the airplane, we took the bucket and the 10 quarts, and he has this special hose that fits on the bottom. You don't need a tool. You just push the hose up on there and turn it 90 degrees and boop, all the oil comes out. This is a quick drain. So we emptied all the good quarts out of the bucket and we put the hose in the empty bucket and um, hooked the hose up and we drained the oil. And then we said, man, you know, in the lower 48, you can always bring your used motor oil to like an AutoZone or an O'Reilly's or
Yeah,
Pep
I was gonna
Boys.
ask you, what do you do with it?
Yeah. So in the state of Alaska, apparently the auto shops don't take it, or I read online that that might be a problem. Where do you drive it around in the rental car trying to get rid of it? In the old days, I think you just poured it in the dirt, but not anymore.
Yes, yes.
So I tell Scott, the mechanic, and he goes, "Oh, we love used motor oil. That's how we heat our hangar in the winter.
Okay.
They have an oil heating heater, oil cooking heater, whatever." So we walked
Awesome.
the dirty oil bucket over. He goes, "Yeah, thank you." He appreciated it. It wasn't even a
That's great.
nuisance. It was a gift. It was the gift of
Scott got
yeah.
2 gifts that day.
It was the gift of dirty motor oil. Yeah, he got paid the day before on time from a customer. Wow. He got paid the second he handed the invoice over. We wrote him a check. It was like the fastest payment
I
in
just
maintenance
I I
history.
I just Googled Scott while you were talking. He just retired. He's living high.
On his waste oil. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. So yeah, well, our used motor oil was a welcome gift, and we had the oil fresh, and we drove back to the rental house. They didn't even know we were gone. It was like,
You know,
"Hey, ladies, oh, did you guys leave?"
that was the joke in my head, and I didn't say it.
I know, it's that's exactly how it went, and everyone would have guessed that. It's true.
Oh.
So we get back, we all went out to dinner, it was a good time. So the kicker is the Friday. The Friday was the day the wives leave, and we were gonna start our journey back through the weekend to get home. This is where stuff got real. So, yeah, we dropped them off at the airport at 7 AM, we head over to the airport, we're excited, we packed the airplane to the gills with all of our stuff, and, we're within weight and balance, we got a full tank of gas, we settle up the bill for the week with the place we were parked at, and we take off. We decided we're too far north to go nonstop to the States. We probably could have made it to Seattle easily from Juneau direct if the winds were favorable, which they were. But we said, you know what? It's just safer to go to Ketchikan. It's like that last stop before going down the Pacific. And here's where the Swiss cheese model lines up. The Swiss cheese model is, we talked about this in another episode. If you line all the little holes in the Swiss cheese are accidents, and as you keep slapping the
Mhm.
slices down, odds are you'll never see straight through that cheese. But occasionally, enough circles line up. That's the accident Swiss cheese model. If you could see through all those holes, there'll be an accident. It wasn't an accident, but there were bad things that
It's
happened.
it's
So,
also
so
how the flat earth people try to prove that the earth is not round. Go on.
Swiss cheese.
Yeah, the lining up the holes. Yeah, go ahead.
So we take off we check the weather, obviously, and it looks, like, questionable, but it looks the same questionable it's looked all week, and we've dealt with this questionable weather all week, and we've been fine, so let's go. And it
Ah, yes, the complacent attitude. I've done this
Yep,
before.
there we go, complacency. So the hazard 1, we depart the airport, head out, we start down a channel, it looks a little sketchy left, let's go right, so we go right, go down this channel, looks a little sketchy right, let's go left, go that way. Let's climb up a bit. Oh, clouds are coming down. Let's go down a bit. And the clouds are coming down more. Let's go down a bit. And the clouds are coming down more. And now we're getting down a bit, like too low for comfort. So, okay, what about left? What about right? Okay, that all looks like crap. Well, I guess we're going to turn around. Made the safe decision, turn back around on the better weather. And we're going to fly all the way back to Juneau. Nah, there's another airport halfway between us and Juneau, Cake, Alaska.
Cake.
Kake. Yeah, Cake. It's a very, very small village with a runway. There's lights on the runway, but there's nothing else. There's no fuel, no
Not
electric, no FBO,
not even a
but it's a
bakery?
runway. I'm sure there was in town. There was like a grocery
I would
store and a
hope
liquor
so.
store. No, no, there's like very, very little civilization there. We met the nicest people there once we got there. It was kind of a any port in a storm mentality. Like we
Yeah.
could have gone all the way back to Juneau, but we didn't know as
Mhm.
bad as things were caving in. Maybe we shouldn't keep going up these rivers. So we dropped in a Cake. No big deal. And reevaluated the weather. There was a Pilatus pilot who landed with their, Alaska shuttles that run around from all the towns. And we walked up to the pilot and, well, hey man, we just came back and kind of bailed on this plan for weather. How'd it look up there? Oh, it looked all right, but I was up at like 9,000 feet. There wasn't much ice. Some ice were like, nope, 9,000 feet's not an option for us. Um, he gave us a little pyre up, and we get back, and he gets in his airplane and leaves. We do our planning. All right, we got enough gas. Let's keep going. Let's try to get back. Weather's looking better. It wasn't looking better. It was reporting the same good, ish weather that was reported when we left the first time.
He's the guy that put that moderate hiking trail sign up, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, there he's in much better equipment. He's in a Pilatus with de-ice boots and a turboprop engine, and people and cargo, and he does this every day. We're noobs, so well, this is where the impatient part comes in. We get back in the airplane, and one thing that's going on with this airplane is it's not liking a hot start. You remember
Mm,
hot starts?
yeah. Tell me about a
Yeah,
hot
so
start. Tell the listener about tell Derek in
Oh,
Tennessee about a hot start.
Derek in Tennessee, when your airplane engine is cold, it starts right up. It's usually a good, healthy, happy start. But right after you shut it down, the engine's super hot. And there's still fuel in the fuel lines inside the engine. And this is an old engine without the modern benefits of technology. Thanks, FAA. And so fuel vapors, the fuel kind of boils in the line, like and there's air vapor in the fuel. How do I explain this in the simplest terms possible? It doesn't, you don't get the correct fuel delivery to start the engine up while it's super hot. But it's been an hour and we want to go keep going. So we
Okay.
get back in the airplane and we crank, 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 no start. No start. So we talk a little bit about it, like, what else can we do? Oh, this sucks. This airplane always starts right up. Well, all week long, it always started right up because it was cold when we got to it. It was never a hot start.
Right.
So we had the right fuel adjustment made by the mechanic on Monday that got us through all the good starts Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, except for the hot start, which wasn't something he could have duplicated sitting on the ground in Juneau.
Right.
So
So
get thereitis, a bunch of hazardous attitudes creeped in, right? We had the complacency for the weather. We had we're on a mission to get home. We have 3 days. We can totally do this in two. We don't, the weather's getting better. We can go. We're good.
and
So
at this point, your ladies are not with you anymore, right? They took the
no,
airline
they're
home.
they're they're
Yeah.
they're in Seattle in the lounge sipping on
Yeah.
champagne.
Okay.
Yeah, on their connecting flight back home. So we text them what's going on. There's no big deal. And maybe the owner will get mad at me for mentioning this, or maybe he won't. I don't know if he listens. But I said, we should walk into town to get a hamburger. I think what's happening here is this airplane needs to be cold to start like it always did all week long. So let's just like give the airplane a break and let it be cold and then we'll come back to it and it'll start right up. No, I've owned this airplane for 15 years. It always starts. We're fine. Let's just try it again. I'm watching the battery meter go down and down. Said, all right, listen, man, as a professional and what I know about the sound of what's going on, we have like two more start attempts and this battery is dead.
I think we heard that story on the way up.
Yeah, yeah, we did, right? So it
Yeah.
revisited. It's like it's coming back to haunt us from
Yeah.
the hot start in Morris, Minnesota.
Right.
Yeah, right. We didn't, but we had the blinders on. I guess I should have known better. I did mention like, hey, we know we have a sure thing. A sure thing is when we leave this airplane alone for 3 or 4 hours. We went into town and ate lunch somewhere. It always started when we showed back up cold. Exactly, Morris, Minnesota. From the way out, should have listened to ourselves. I said, listen, man, just let's let go of the keys. It was kind of like he was disappointed in something that's taken such good care of him for over a decade, right?
Yeah.
But we know there's one constant. If this airplane cools down, it's good to go. Come with me. We'll grab the bear spray and a water bottle. We'll hike into town 2 miles. We'll get a burger. We'll hike
Oh,
back. We'll meet the locals.
hold on now. This is where town is through bear territory, and you're
Yeah,
hoofing it?
yeah, yeah.
Good.
So
Okay.
I packed a portable backpack, like a ready pack of. I have like I'm pretty modular, right? Like, all right, I need this, that, that. Stick it in a bag, throw it on my back. Let's go. We got
And
water. We got bear spray,
nobody to
knife.
offer you a ride?
I mean, there were people coming and going, but we're grown ups, right? And we met some nice people at the airport when
That's
that first time
okay.
that
That's
plane came in,
questionable, but
and that pilot that gave us the pilot report.
yeah.
There were people there that unloaded his cargo and unloaded his passengers, put new passengers
People
in. But then,
people that would be able to identify your corpse after the bear has its way?
yes, yes, those people, and they all
Yes.
left because once the plane leaves, there's no reason to hang around the airport.
Okay.
There was no facility, no fuel. Anyway, so we start the walk into town. We get about a mile down the airport road to the into town. There's a lodge, like a tribal owned lodge. And I said, let's just hang out here and figure out what's next. I got a timer running on my phone. It's been 45 minutes since we last tried to start the airplane. And this woman walks up. How you doing? Really nice. Good. How are you? Hey, just curious. Like, there's a chance we might be stuck here tonight. Are there rooms in this lodge available? She goes, I don't know. I'll call the boss and ask her. So she does. She goes, well, if you are going to stay, let me know as soon as possible before I go home for the night. Like they go home at 5 o'clock. And if you're not in the lodge, you're not getting in. Like,
Jeez.
She goes, "But we do have 1 room left in the hotel." Like, does it have 2 beds? Actually, at this point, it probably
Did I
doesn't
say?
matter.
That's what I
Yeah.
was about to ask.
Sleep with the bears or sleep in a one-bedroom? Or 1 bed. So she did say there was a room, and I'm like, "Well, we'll let you know as soon as we know." And I said, "All right, man, it's another mile down the road. We'll get to the burger joint, have a burger, come on back." "No, we don't need to do this." I went, "This is I'm sure by the time we walk back to the airplane, it'll be cool enough. It'll start right up. Like, it's only been 45 minutes, man. Let's just go get that burger. Sure thing, 3 hours. Sure thing." "Well, what if it's 2 hours? What if we just wait for 2 hours?" Like, "Sure thing, 3 to 4 hours, we know is a sure thing. 2 hours is enough. It's gotta be cool." So, despite my better judgment, I listened to the owner. We walk back up the driveway, and I'm in no way painting him as a villain. I know how much faith he has in his plane, and his plane was not cooperating that day.
Everybody has an off day, right?
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly, right? But so I follow him back. I'm like, "All right, man, we'll follow him." And I kept trying to stall. I remember thinking in my head, like, "How can I make this 3 hours instead of 2?" So I stopped like halfway up the walk to there. I'm like, "I gotta pee." This will buy us 3 more minutes. Like, I gotta find a place to pee. Let me go over behind these bushes over here. Um, and he waits, and I'm like, "Okay, that's 3 more minutes. How do I get another 57 minutes out of this?" And we get up the hill and we're at the entrance to the airport. "Hey, look at that. Let's look inside that shed over there." I'm just trying to just literally stall like a child at bedtime. I'm thirsty. I'm hungry, like anything but go to bed, right? Well, then we were like, "Hey, let's go use the bathroom one last time before we in that little cargo shed that they were handling cargo with." It's locked. They put a padlock on it when they go home between flights. So we can't get inside. We're staying. I'm like, "Man, no bathroom. Now if we get back in this airplane, like we can't do anything till we land somewhere else, like bathroom wise."
Yeah,
So
you
we,
just
we
ate those greasy burgers too.
We didn't get burgers. I wanted to, but that was the impatient part, is that we should have gone that would have been enough time to start the airplane, but we didn't wait because we only got to the bottom of the road and talked to the lodge, and then he
I
convinced me
see.
to walk right
Okay,
back to the
okay.
airplane. So it had been maybe an hour and 15 minutes since we shut down. Not a cold engine. All right, man. Well, and I started planning, like, he's gonna kill this engine, the battery's gonna be dead, we're stranded here. So I'm looking at flights from Cake, Alaska to Juneau, Cake, Alaska to Ketchikan, and I see that this is a Friday, mind you, Friday morning. The next flight to Ketchikan, if I don't is on Monday, because it's 4th of July weekend.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and for private operators like that, they don't work on holidays unless it's an emergency. That's not Our battery being dead is not an emergency. Like a heart attack would be an emergency.
Well,
Medevac.
small town holiday celebration, that could be worth staying for.
There was a small town holiday celebration, and one of the locals told us, "Hey, if you're stuck here, come on down and party." And I'm like,
That's
"This
awesome.
could be awesome." I can't remember her name, but I have her number, and I wanted to send her a thank you package because, um, she ended up giving us thank you gifts. She drove back to the airport to see if we were still there, and we were. And she brought us these little, like, gift goodie bags that had 4th of July fireworks on it, said Cake Alaska on the bottom, and it was for their, like, parade downtown, their celebration. Um,
But
so
but we're not giving
what?
away that you stayed yet. We still don't know whether the
Oh,
airplane's gonna start.
oh, well, here's spoiler alert, we didn't stay, but spoiler alert, the plane did die. So so we go to crank it one more time against my better judgment, and "It's fine, it'll start." Oh, look, nothing happened. "All right, man, you're gonna get one more try to start it, and it's done." And I'm on my phone looking up flights to Juneau. It's like 1 o'clock, and there's a 3 o'clock flight to Juneau. Otherwise, we don't get another flight till Sunday because Saturday is the 4th of July holiday.
Okay.
So I said, "Man, I'm gonna buy tickets on this Pilatus back to Juneau, whether you go with me or not. This isn't happening. I'm not missing that plane. Otherwise, we're stuck here for 3 days, and you have work Monday, I have work Monday. Like, this plane might stay here for a week or 2." You're like, "How do we get it back?" He's like, "What are we gonna do?" "Well, we have to get a ferry pilot and a mechanic. You'll have to pay somebody to fly a mechanic here to fix it, and then have another pilot fly in to fly it back to a big airport so that when you get to Juneau by air service and Delta, you can still have your plane." And all these ridiculous plans that we're trying to make, contingencies. Well, we're sitting there, we crank it dead, and I'm like, "All right, man, I'm buying those 2 tickets." And it was like this defeat, right? Like, it's not gonna start. And I know that it would have started if we had gone for that burger and just let the engine cool down, which really is a kick in the nuts here. But Pilatus comes back in at 3 o'clock. We got tickets on it. Pilot gets out, goes, "What are you 2 still doing here?" I explained to him what's going on. I'm like, "Hey, man, I don't know, man. We're new to the area. I have no idea." He's like, "It's all good. Hey, I think I got somebody that might be able to help you. Here, take a picture of this." And he opens this, his phone to his contact list and pulls up a guy. Says, "Call this guy when you get back to Juneau." So then we get up in the airplane and we get in his plane and he flies us to Juneau and he lets us out at the terminal. And so I had rented a car on my phone one day just to have something to either sleep in or drive around in Juneau. We didn't know how long we'd be there for. We didn't have a hotel. We had checked out of our Airbnb. So we were kind of just winging it at this point. We called Daddy with the charger, Scott the mechanic. "Hey, man, battery's dead. We're like stranded. Oh no." He goes, "Well, I got an old 28-volt battery and a jump cable. You can have it for as long as you need it. I don't know how you're going to get back to your airplane, but here it is at the gate for you." And he was going home for the night for the holiday weekend. And so was everybody else in aviation and the whole state. Everyone was off for 4th of July weekend. This 4th of July was on a Saturday. It's a big deal for everybody. We get to Juneau, and I call the phone number from the pilot of the Pilatus, and he goes, "Hey, man, Brian from the Pilatus said to call you, said that you'd call." Said, "Yeah, we're dead battery and cake, and, I know the plane would cold start. It won't hot start. That's why the battery's dead." And he's like, "Well, I got a little Cherokee. I don't know. Let me see. Check with my work." He's an on-call medevac pilot. He's also an aircraft mechanic at the local charter operator. He's like, "I can give you a ride over in the Cherokee. We can try to start it, but if it doesn't start," I'm like, "I don't know. What do you want to do?" We're like, "Well, we'll just fly back to Juneau with you in your Cherokee. If it doesn't start, we'll, work from there." He goes, "Let me ask the wife, my son, whatever." They're like, "Yeah, Dad, go help those people, right?" Um,
The
so m-
generosity of these Alaskan people that you have encountered is
yeah, it was
it's
incredible.
unmatched.
So
Yeah.
guess what? Remember, remember the pilot I pushed the Saratoga out of the hangar in Michigan at the
Yes.
airport?
Yes.
So we're driving in
I don't
mecha-
actually
mecha-
remember.
okay, so mechanic medevac pilot that is going to save us and fly us and our battery and our jump cable back to the airplane. He goes, "Oh, you know John?"
Yeah,
It's like,
John.
"What are you seriously? Everybody just knows everybody up here. I fly seaplanes with him. How do you know him?" And I'm like, "I helped him with his airplane once, like back in the lower 48." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what a small world." And he was
That's
super
so
nervous
fun.
about who we were, um, based on how sketchy the weather was that day. I'm like, "We know how sketchy it was. We were flying in it, right? Like we were in it twice." So he's like, "Well, I don't know. The weather looks kind of questionable." And I said to him like, "We are new, but we're not that new here. It's the same it always is here." And I flew freight for 15 years. And he goes, "Oh, yeah, so the weather's fine." I was like, "What does that mean?" He wanted this is fine for
He
a freight
just
dog. It's
yeah,
not
he just
fine
got
for
off a
like
moderate hike. He's good.
well, what he was, he doesn't know who these 2 random people are truly before he takes them in his airplane, for 1. 2, uh, the average general aviation weekend warrior in the US would consider that weather to be a hard no. We're not going.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just day to day up there. It's just the usual. So once he understood that, he let us go, climb up in his airplane, and he flew us to Cake. And at that point, it had been 4 hours since we had last tried to start that airplane. Oh, and the rule is with general aviation flying, not for hire, is that you can only split the cost of operation for the pro rata share, which is the evenly
Ooh,
split based on the occupants of the airplane, right? So myself and my co-pilot guy, the owner, we can take 2/3 of the cost of the flight, and the owner would have 1/3. And so we worked that all out with the numbers with him to make sure that we weren't violating any regulations. Um, and then he is a mechanic too, a aviation mechanic. So he helped me, just watch me put the battery on pack on the jumper and the jumper on the airplane. And I said, "I'm just gonna stand outside the airplane because I don't even wanna be in there ready to go to find out this thing doesn't start, and, like, the letdown. So I'll stand
Yeah.
out here with Mechanic Man, and we're gonna watch, and if it starts, I'll go around the back of the airplane and get in, just have the door open for me. I had 0 confidence that we were leaving in the Cessna, not the Piper. But, sure enough, it fired right up. The
Well,
surprise,
good.
3 to 4
Great.
hours, right? 3 to 4 hours, it fires right up. So I said to the mechanic, "Hey, man, you want a Monster Energy?" He's like, "What?" He's like, "I got a cooler full of them in the plane because I had them for the flying, like, to get myself home 22 hours." They were all iced down too. He was like, "You got
Nice.
Monsters?" "Yeah, man." So I hand him a Monster, like, that was way better than anything else he was so
Oh,
happy to
nice.
just get a cold Monster after helping us 2 schmucks out, and what a nice guy, what a generous, and everybody knows everybody, they're just help "Hey, there's some people in need. I know a guy who knows a guy, he knows a guy, blah, blah, blah," and it just came together, right? So now we have Juno's battery and jump cable. We have a pilot here that helped us fly to this remote airport. It was crazy.
It's lovely to know that there's a place on Earth where people are like that.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
it's
It
33,000 miles away from where we sit.
it's like Santa's village. Everybody's happy at the
It was
North
so
Pole.
cool. I'm so happy. It was just such a great feeling. Well, anyway, we took off. The weather was better. We did get into Ketchikan, Alaska, and right before they close, well, they don't actually close, but like the airport closes. The last ferry, remember that last ferry thing I ran
Yeah, the
into on the way
ferry.
up? Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So we land at like 9:15, and the answer, like 9:05 maybe. I'm like, I know the last ferry left at 9 o'clock. We're like, hey, we'll just sleep in the FBO. We'll just crash. Hell, if we have to sleep in our sleeping bags in the grass, so be it. And people do that too, by the way.
Oh.
Is it that boring that you gotta yawn through it? No, it's getting late. I'll wrap
You're the one told me you
well,
had to get up early.
yeah, we'll save part 3, but, so I'll just get us through the night at Ketchikan, then we'll pick up the next
I've
episode.
been watching you wipe your face with that same tissue for this entire broadcast. I don't know what you've got, but you're not supposed to fly sick.
No, so, I ate a bunch of cherries and, um, the whatever they spray on cherries gives me, like, an itchy throat and a runny nose.
Okay, you better
I
hope it's
Can you
not that
believe
cyclospora that's going around.
Oh, I read
Uh,
about that.
yeah, I
Yeah,
can.
so
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
yeah, 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 so I'll sniffle, sniffle because I ate a bunch of cherries that I shouldn't eat, but I love them, they're so delicious. Chemicals make my throat whatever. Anyway, Ketchikan, Alaska, just after the last ferry left, and we parked the airplane, and we're like, "Well, now what?" So, this is the end of this adventure for this episode, but we go to the FBO from the parking ramp, we walk up to the office, the same office a week prior we had bought fuel at and parked with Jim Bob, who
Right,
didn't
right.
parked us in the wrong spot, and nobody's there, lights are off. We're like, "Well, there's gotta be a key under a mat," or, like, it says a button next to there says push to enter. You know those magnet locks? Like, you push the button,
Yeah.
it
Uh-huh.
releases. We're like, "Oh, cool." We push the button, we yank a clunk, and I look closer in the door seam, there's a deadbolt in there, and it's shut. So this push to unlock is BS because they've deadbolted it anyway from the inside. So I was like, "Well, there's for fire reasons, surely there's, like, an exit gate." I go over to the exit gate. Meanwhile, so the owner is still, buttoning up the airplane, by the way. I'm just trying to find us a way off for the night. Go to the exit gate, chained and locked shut.
You're locked
There's
onto you're
locked
on the
on the
island.
airport. We are locked on the runway, on the parking ramp next to the runway, and it's getting dark, and we're like, "Well, now what?" So I'm looking around, I look around, I start improvising. I see a shuttle van, one that would bring some passengers out to their private jet maybe.
Yeah.
It's a Sprinter van. It has 4 rows of seats in it. I look in the window, the keys are in it.
Dear. Oh,
So
no.
I pull on the door opens up, I hit the unlock button, the sliding door opens. I said, "Guess what, man? We're sleeping in a van tonight." It's like, talk about an adventure. Everybody's gone, right? So we get our sleeping bags out of the airplane. We take my little cooler. I transferred Monster Energies out. I put snacks and like non-monster drinks in it, water bottles and a pop before I went to bed, and just comfort food. We're about to sleep in a van tonight together in the freezing cold.
This is awesome.
Isn't it crazy
This
the
is
adventure
like
just to get home?
an apocalyptic way of life at this point.
No, it was fun. It was
There's
such an adventure.
yeah.
So we laid out, well, not laid out, but like we call the wives, we explain how we're locked on the airport. and, like, 5 minutes after, like, being set up to go to bed, police lights and a police car. This is a you can't make this up.
I didn't know this was going to be the story of Captain Million's police record.
I did get in the back of a cop car that night.
Did you?
This was this was not shared on Facebook to the world, but I'll expose it here for all of you.
Oh,
We did not violate any rules officially. Um, so back when I first started flying cargo, I lived down in Canton, Michigan. Did I tell you about that?
I don't know.
Long 15 years ago. That's where I lived when I met my wife, Canton,
Okay.
Michigan. Down by Detroit Metro Airport. Cop pulls up. He sounds kind of Michigan-y.
What does that what does that sound like?
Water and salad.
Okay.
Uh, and in his Michigan-y accent, he said, "What are you guys doing here?" And we're like, "Going to sleep." Like, "Why?" Because everything's locked and nobody's here. He goes, "Well, I got a call from the air traffic controller saying that a plane landed, shut off, and 2 pilots get out, and then no one's seen him since."
So
That was
wait
the
a
last
minute.
one.
Who saw you get out?
Apparently, somebody up in, like, the tower
There
or
was
the
somebody in the tower. You didn't
that's
try
what
the
I'm saying.
tower? You didn't call the tower and say,
What do
"Hey,
you what? We were shut down. We didn't know,
what?"
the airplane's off.
It was a tower controlled field though? You had a clearance
No,
to
it's
land?
not. It's not. It has a flight service station, not a tower.
Hmm. All right. Anyway,
It did already
somebody was watching.
somebody had eyes on it, and
Yeah.
apparently they lost sight of us, or that would have been a hilarious view of us taking sleeping bags into a van together, and smart food popcorn, some beef jerky,
Oh,
a
yeah.
small cooler of water bottles. So the cop, I think his name was Ryan, is from, like, the same area where I was living 15 years ago.
How
He
about
was
that?
he was like, "Oh, I'm from Michigan too. I lived off of, like, Ford Road," and so I was like, "I was off of Ford Road and something." Like, it was just he's like, "Well, hey, guys, while you didn't break any rules, I need you to get in the back of this cop car." We're like, "Why, officer?" He goes, "'Cause the last ferry out of here leaves in 10 minutes, and we need to be on it." And I'm like, "I thought the ferries were done." He goes, "They are for regular people, but the
Oh.
police need to leave the airport at night too."
Oh.
So I didn't know there was a secret ferry. It's not
But
published.
it wouldn't have mattered because you were still locked onto the airport
I
before
wouldn't have
you
known.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because all the passengers and the people that work at the terminal for Alaskan Airlines, they all have to leave on that 9 o'clock. But apparently there's a later one for the last of everything. Yeah, so we load up just a backpack. He's like, "You get to the other side, go find yourself a place to sleep. Be
Oh,
back
I
in the
was really
morning."
hoping that Ryan the cop was gonna take you to his house to spend the night.
He was so friendly. Oh my gosh. It was great. So we
You
get on
know
this ferry with just the airport employees. He drives us out in a cop car. We're like, "Hey, do we need to, like, hurry?" Or he's like, "Well, they're not gonna leave without me. Like, they need to wait for me every night. I'm the last one off this aisle, like, off this airport." I was like, "Oh, cool. So whenever you get there, we get there. Whenever that's when the boat leaves." So
you
he
know,
does take us off the airport. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I hope that in all your encounters with these people, you have been handing out or leaving cats on guard stickers all over Alaska because these people who have treated you so well need to know, they deserve to know that they're being lauded here on the podcast today.
So I'm working on like, some sort of compact shippable gifts that I can send as thank yous to everybody,
Absolutely.
because it
Yes.
was such a generous offering from the people of Alaska through our entire trip just to make our experience enjoyable and safe and keep us alive and all these things. So, um, they will be getting it at some point. I gotta track everybody down, and I'm sure all I could do is text somebody, "Hey, do you have the address for Brian, the seaplane pilot?" I'm sure they'll just send it to me.
Scott the mechanic and Ryan the police officer.
Yeah, exactly, right? I have a list running in my phone. Seriously, I kept track of all these things so
Hey,
that I could
listener,
remember them.
if you know any of these people, tip us off. We'd love to hear it. Give us an
Yeah,
email at
I need to track down
catsonguard,
Ryan, the Michigan police officer from Ketchikan, Alaska. So so,
catsonguard at gmail.com.
yes, yes, that's where to find us. So, we do get on that last ferry, the employee ferry, and on the ferry, he goes, "Yeah, that's Bill." I don't know his name. "Bill's the controller that landed you guys from the flight service station, closed your flight plan. and he's the one that saw you guys disappear. And we're like, "Oh, hey, Bill." And Bill just gives us this, like, grumpy ass look, like, oh, because we just caused
Oh,
a shit
Bill.
mess for him, right? We made a mess for him on the close of his night on the 4th of July weekend. He had to wonder where these 2 pilots wandered off to and to send the cops after us. So, but we did thank Bill for his help, as well. And then the ferry gets to the other side, and we're gonna backpack it to a hotel. So Ryan, the police officer, goes, "Dude, I'll just give you guys a ride to the hotel down the block if you wanna go." We're like, "Yeah, thanks, man." And he gives us a ride in his car, truck, whatever, like, to the hotel. He's like, "You guys," we're like, "Can we buy you a beer or something?" He's like, "I can't." Like, "Oh, you don't drink?" He's like, "No, man, I'm packing. I'm a cop. I can't go in the bar." Oh, dirt.
Just offer him one of
So
those
what?
Monster
So I
Energies.
was like I was like, "Well, go if you wanna go home, put your gun down, come on in and have a drink. Like, we're here, we'll buy you all the beers you want for saving our butts. We didn't have to sleep in a van tonight." He thought that was funny.
That
Yeah,
is funny. I
let's
think that
wrap it
might
up
be
with
the
that.
best story that you've told so far.
Just
Oh,
getting to do it. We walked up all disheveled and beaten. That was a heck of a day. I mean, we were on, like, 4 different airplanes for yeah, the cop car ride, and we got to the hotel, we're like, "We need to sleep. We'll reevaluate our lives tomorrow." Like,
right. All
and it
right.
was the
So
3rd of July.
that's awesome. And this is the third of our Alaskan specials. One more to go. And
Yeah,
I think you still have one more near death experience to share with us.
I do.
Okay. So that's going to be the grand finale. And you're going to work again, though. So who knows when we'll record this
Yeah, I'm
again.
gonna go to sleep. I'll be back in a couple days, and we can wrap up with the grand finale and the near death experience and the best sushi I've had in a long time.
Very cool. Can't wait. Um, In the meanwhile, send those emails to catsonguard@gmail.com. If you know any of these Alaskan characters, let us know who they are because we would love to see them again. I haven't seen them yet. Anyway, I'm MC Howe.
Go Captain Richard Million.
See you next time.